Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unstoppable Conversations. And I have Evan in the house with us today. I am so excited to have him. He's very unique in what he does and how he helps people. So, with that said, Evan, I would love for you to give us an introduction of yourself, your business, and how do you help people?
Yeah, Ladonna, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate being here. One of the ways that I add value to the world is I've created a company that connects business owners directly to business buyers. And business owners are able to sell their businesses without any cost. So, no listing fees, without any commissions. And this is very untypical for the industry. The industry for the last 250 years has had a commission based selling of businesses. And so, my goal really is to disrupt that industry and put more money back into the hands of business owners.
Oh, I love that idea. I love that idea. Now, how do you go about if I wanted to sell my business? How are you getting it out there to the market so that they know it's up for sale?
That's a great question because, I mean, one of the things is if it's for sale and no one knows about it, then it definitely doesn't get sold. So, one of the ways that we do that, we connect through a lot of social media platforms. We run a lot of different ads. We're connecting with a lot of experts, so expert advisors for both the buyers and the sellers, as well as even some business brokers, which are kind of our competition, but there are some synergies there as well.
So when you say social media, I mean, I feel like I am a social media expert. That's what I love to do. It's what I do all day long. Are you talking about Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok? What kind of platforms are you talking about?
We have presence on pretty much all those platforms in some way, form, or fashion. The types of content we do or we put out is a little different in each of those forms, and so one of the things that I've been working on is doing a little bit more videos. Another way is like podcasts like this, where having a conversation about this and getting that out there to everyone so they can hear. One of my theories is, I could have a conversation with one person, but if I have one conversation with you as one person, then that conversation is multiplied. So maybe 50 people or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people hear it, or however many people listen to this podcast. And so that's another way that we amplify our voice and our presence online as well. Somewhere an average or low amount of exposure could be anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 outreaches across all the mediums and platforms for like a video or like a post and things like that. And so that really does have a amplifying effect. And so we try to get out there as much as possible.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And it does take all of it to make you successful. I really feel like that to reach enough people. We reach a lot of people out there, but we don't always know it because they don't always write us a comment or love our post. So they're
Yeah.
just watching us. And we have to know they are watching us in everything we do. So
Yep.
you said something really important. You said that the sellers are not paying you. So how are you getting paid, Evan? We all want to know.
I love that question, and that's a great question to ask, because it means you're thinking about the business model. And so, if you look at it, the one of the ways that we thought about it was we have fewer businesses than we have people who want to buy those businesses, and so the demand is not on the buyer side; it's on the seller side. And so, being able to list more businesses on our platform attracts more buyers, and we want to monetize on the buyer side. One of the reasons why a business broker exists, which is like a real estate agent for buying and selling businesses, and one of the reasons they exist is because there's a lot of buyers who will watch the social media. They get really excited about buying a business, financial freedom, and all this other stuff. And they enter into the buying process of the business without any knowledge. And so they end up wasting the time of the owner. And so instead of a business broker, which would typically screen those buyers and only present the seller with good buyers, one of the ways that we limit bad buyers is we charge a decent sized fee. And so only buyers who are confident and ready would actually pay that fee, because they know the value of being connected directly with an owner who's ready to sell. And if the buyer is ready to buy, then it's a match made in heaven. And so everyone really wins in that transaction.
I love that you get those serious people that
Yeah.
are ready to purchase, has the money in the bank, and can do it. And I love that idea. So, how do you think that the most important thing is that you do that helps a seller?
So the statistics show that 80% of businesses that go to market to sell, whether it's through a business broker or an owner list themselves, 80% will never. So no matter what they do, no matter what the price is, no matter how they try to get rid of the business, it will never sell. And so, really, our mission is making businesses more viable, more noticed, and more acquirable. You know, so I don't know if you know the statistic, but 1/3 of every business in the United States in the next 10 years is going to either get sold or close their doors. And so that's 1/3 of our economy. That's 1/3 of our jobs. There's a lot involved with that. And so our mission is really making those businesses more noticeable and connecting those business owners with the buyers. And so, I mean, the most important thing, it sounds silly, is just getting business owners on the platform and getting them a higher opportunity to be sold.
Absolutely. So you're bringing the buyers to the sellers, and do the sellers have to do anything besides let you handle it all? I mean, are you handling the entire transaction, or are the sellers?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It kind of goes back to like the connection, principle that that you're an expert in connecting with people. The free listing and the free sale are for business owners that are working with advisors. And the reason that's important because advisors will help the business owners make their business more valuable and more attractive to the seller. You know, as a to the buyer, as a seller, you want to bundle your business up like a product or a service, right? It's really neat. It's easily packageable. You can understand what you're buying, what you're getting. And then those advisors help owners do that, look at the business as that product or service. And then that makes it more attractive to to the buyers. And so the goal is to get those owners to spend a little bit of money because they're going to save more money in the long term, but spend a little bit of money so they get the value of the extra value of the business. They save the money on the sale of the business, and then their business is more sellable and they have a higher likelihood of success. And so we're trying to encourage them to walk through that process in a great way. The crux of my business is just the connection piece, connecting the buyers and sellers directly to one another. One of the things is I can also connect owners with advisors, whether that's like a EOS, entrepreneur operating system implementer, an exit planner advisor, financial planner. There's taxes. There's all these things that business owners probably should talk with these advisors in order to get their business ready. And so I don't want to pretend to be the expert. And there's just so many experts out there already helping business owners. I would rather make the connection piece and then let the owner decide who's best for them to work with.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So the sellers and owners get to know really what each other's what is involved. The sellers get to explain their business to the buyer and show them what they do, how they do it, where they do it, and who they reach. And I love that idea. It's not just a contract.
Right, right.
So
Absolutely. Too, with when you have a middleman involved, like a business broker, what ends up happening is the owner doesn't really get to know the buyer. But the buyer is the person that is taking over the business. This has sentimental value to the owner. This is something they've worked on, they've built, that they've struggled with, that there's been recessions and economic booms. And then they have employees that they care about and love that have been with them since the beginning. And they're within communities that maybe the owner works in and lives in. And, when they retire, they want to still have good working relations with the community, not like, oh, Mr. Owner, you sold to corporate firm and they jacked the prices 3 times and life's miserable now because you're a sellout. And so having that relationship with the buyer, I think, is really important. And then the buyer can come alongside the owner and understand kind of the vision of the owner and maybe carry the mantle better. So it's not always about money, I think, when buying a business, because there is a legacy piece involved in that as well.
yes, I love that idea. I sold a business several years. Well, it's been several years now, and it end up being something completely different than what I would have wanted for my business. And I say my business, I had that business for 20 plus years. So
Wow.
it will always be my business. And
Right.
now I
Right.
look at it, they let everyone go. None of my employees are still there. None of my VA assistants are still there. They made it something completely different. And I will be honest with you, Evan, it was more than money for me. Number one, I should
Yeah.
have sold it for more money because I didn't really know what all I had until it was gone, per se.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And if I would
Absolutely.
have
Yeah.
had someone like you, maybe you could have advised me of, you know what, maybe you need to, now thinking of it, I should have probably broken it into thirds. I should have really sold
Hmm.
it off into three businesses instead of one because of the way they're handling my business.
Right.
And I probably should have put a higher price tag on it to take so that I could help take care of those people that worked for me for almost 20 years. Some of them were
Yeah.
with me from day one.
Wow.
Um, Matter of
Wow.
fact, one of them I brought over with me to this business, and I've had this business now for several years. So she really has worked for me over 20 years. That's how I want my employees to be treated. That's how I want
Yeah.
my assistants to be treated. Because guess what? They have families too.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like family because if they don't perform well, it's not like most business owners don't just fire somebody. They like, hey, let me train you up on where you're lacking. It's like if you have a kid that misbehaves, you don't say, hey, well, you're not my kid anymore. You're like, okay, let me train you on the right behavior and how to, walk better in this world and do the right things. And it's similar with the business for a lot of small businesses as well. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's not just all about money. And sometimes, like you said, you don't know what the business is worth. And, it's funny, there's a statistic, and I hate absolutes because, most of the time they're never right. But 100% business owners will exit their business. And you like think about like, really? Yeah, 100%. Either you're going to die, you're going to get divorced, you're going to have a disagreement with your partner, breakup, you're not going to be able to pay the bills, or you're going to do a deal. You're going to exit through a deal. And so you will always exit your business one way or another. But yet, so few business owners actually think about and plan for it.
You are right. I mean, when I decided to sell my business that we were just talking about, um, it was a health issue. I felt like, you know what? I don't want to work that hard anymore. It was harder work. It was lifting and pushing and shoving. And, I'm not in my 30s anymore. So I no
Yeah.
longer wanted to do that, nor did my body want to do it. So I thought to myself, okay, it's time to do something. And instead of just closing it, I chose to sell it. And again, I didn't sell it for enough because I'm like, well, I'll get, a few $1,000s for it. And at least, I can help my employees or, have a big bash with them or whatever it was. And now looking back, again, I should have sold it for a lot more than what I did because it was worth a whole lot more. And with you, Evan, you could have told me that if I would have had someone like you. You could have
Yeah.
pointed me in the right direction. I'm going to tell you, folks, I had no idea how to sell my business. Even though I did it, and I did it kind of like Evan said, I let everyone know on social media and some of the places near and around me that was local, but I had no business selling my own business. It's not, I didn't have a realtor involved. I had nobody involved, just me and them. And I would have done it completely different. So I had no idea there were people like you out there. And now I know why, because there really
Mm.
aren't people exactly like you and your business out there helping us sell our business.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a tribute to all the hardworking Americans, around the country that have really sustained our economy, have built us up and, made America the place it is to live. And yeah, I think that owners should walk away with more after, like you said, you dedicated 20 plus years. After that kind of commitment, there should be something involved in that. That's a high risk, and it requires a high reward, I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been great having you here, Evan. I have learned a lot. I know that the audience is going to learn a lot once they watch this. If you're watching it now or watching it later, reach out to Evan with questions. He will have answers for you, or he knows people with the right answers. So
Absolutely.
keep that in mind when you get ready to put a price tag on your legacy. How much is it really worth? How much
Absolutely.
is it really worth? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Thank you, Evan, so very much. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Bye bye now.